Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring the entire Nelson family, Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky. Here is Ozzie, who plays the part of Ozzie Nelson. And, of course, his lovely wife, Harriet, as Harriet Nelson. The older of the Nelson boys, David, appears as David Nelson. And his younger brother, the irrepressible Ricky, played by Ricky Nelson. The Nelsons' next-door neighbor, Thorny, is played by Don DeFore.
Boys, lunch is almost ready. Let's knock it off, huh?
Hey, Pop, when a man comes dribbling down and the other guy blocks you under the basket, isn't that a foul?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but he can't come dribbling right into you, can he?
Well, when the defensive man has established his position, then the guy with the ball dribbles into him and they collide. That's a question for the referee to decide as to which one has committed the foul.
Gee, you sure know a lot about basketball, Pop.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I know a lot about diplomacy.
Especially when you're hungry and lunch is about ready, huh, Pop?
That's the general idea.
Let's go, Rick.
Hey, come on, David. You've been following me all morning.
Hi, Oz. See you were putting the boys through their paces.
Yeah, just explaining a few of the fouls to him.
There's sure a lot of rules these days. It's kind of turning the game into a tea party.
Yeah, I think it's good, though. It keeps the kids from getting hurt.
When I was a kid, we used to play out behind the school. We called it basketball, but it was more like tackle football.
Yeah. I know what you mean. We used to play a pretty rough game, too.
So that football was really my game. Sure used to get banged up, though. I'll never forget one game when I got hurt. They had to take 8 stitches in my right hand.
Oh, somebody step on it?
No, I was carrying the ball, and I stiff-armed a guy. Of course, he had his mouth wide open. Very sharp teeth.
Yeah, sharp teeth. Yeah, you get a very nasty wound like that. Somehow, you know, Thorny, it doesn't seem that the kids play as rough nowadays. I remember when I was a kid, we used to play tackle football right out in the schoolyard, just a gravel schoolyard.
I know.
Get our clothes torn, our eyes blackened.
It was the same with me. The rougher, the better.
Oh. You know, somehow, though, I think that sort of thing is good for a kid in a way. I mean, the indoctrination of the age-old law of survival. It prepares a kid for what he has to meet in later life.
That's right.
Would you believe it? I still have some scars that I got when I was a kid. Here,
I have too, Oz.
I've got one here that, oh, that's from a garter when I used to work there.
Well, take a look at this.
From a garter?
No, I got this falling off a ladder when I was 7 years old.
Oh.
4-inch gash, didn't let out a whimper.
Oh, here's the thing. Oh, yeah, I don't think you can see the mark. But listen to this. Every time I kind of throw my knee, you can hear a little...
Oh. Same thing. Listen to this. See if you can hear this. You hear that?
What's this, the backyard burlesque?
All right, Thorny and I are just comparing scars here.
Oh, well, gird up your loins and come on in to lunch. You want to come to lunch too, Thorny?
No, thanks, Harriet. I got to go home a little bit.
Well, don't stay out here all afternoon.
You think I was David or Ricky?
Wives are really wonderful, aren't they? They push us around, laugh at us. They never seem to realize that we're not harmless little children.
You know, I've often thought the same thing myself, Thorny. I don't think they seem to understand how thin this veneer of civilization really is.
That's right. Actually, it wasn't too long ago that man lived in the wilderness, roamed the plains, hunting for his own food.
You know, maybe it was my imagination, but I thought I detected a little glint in your eye when you said hunting just then. You know, you have the signs of a hunter, too. That little squint in your left eye.
You know, Oz, there are certain disadvantages to being married men. Now, if we were single, we could pack up our gear and go off on a hunting trip.
Let's go anyway.
Oz, you don't know what you're saying.
Sure I do. Come on, we can get an early start in the morning. Throw a couple of blankets in the old bedroll, get a couple of sacks of flapjack flour, a bag of coffee, and a side of bacon.
Camping out. The wind whistling through the trees. A lone coyote howling in the distance. Just the two of us. Rugged outdoor men. Men against nature. Fresh morning air. That sweet aroma of coffee boiling on an open fire.
I'm oiling the guns while you're cooking the flapjacks.
And far across the lake, a moose calls.
Ozzie, come on, lunch is ready.
Okay, Harry, I'll be right there.
Now, Oz, we'll give an early start in the morning. And when you're ready, give me the old moose call.
The old moose call.
Oh, I don't care if you want to go. But isn't this something new, hunting? You've always had trouble swatting flies.
What you don't seem to realize, Harriet, is that I'm basically not the mild, gentle creature that you believe me to be. Oh, it's true that I've adjusted myself to meet civilization's demands, to accept the responsibility of a family, but basically there's still a great deal of the savage beast still lurking within me.
Well, I don't care if you want to get out of a nice warm bed and go up there and slosh around in the mud and snow for a few days. It's going to be pretty cold up there in those mountains, you know.
Well, Harriet, that's part of the fun of the great outdoors. Meeting nature head on. We'll get a real early start. Probably get up about, say, 4 o'clock in the morning. You and the boys will still be in bed, of course.
You really going hunting, Pop?
Oh, where did you hear about it?
Mr. Thornberry told me. I ate lunch over at Will's.
That's where you were.
Yes, ma'am. What are you going to hunt, Pop?
Oh, deer, rabbits, ducks. They're all meat on the table.
Will Thornberry was bragging about what a great hunter his father is. Says Mr. Thornberry hunts all the time.
Well, maybe Mr. Thornberry is a good hunter. After all, he shot that moose. You've seen it over his fireplace.
Yeah, he must have used a big bullet, boy. There's nothing left but the head.
They ate the rest of it. A moose is huge. They must have had moose for months.
Mr. Thornberry says he used to hunt grizzly bears with a sharp stick.
I'm afraid I find that a little hard to believe.
As long as you've had your lunch, why don't you go outside and play,
Okay, Mom. Can I borrow some money, Pop? I want to get a couple of comic books.
Well, okay, here's your allowance. I wish you'd raise your standards of literature.
I wish you'd raise my allowance.
Imagine the nerve of that Thorny telling Ricky he used to hunt grizzly bears with a sharp stick.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Thorny were quite a hunter. He's the outdoor type.
Oh, Harry, are you kidding? He's no more the outdoor type than I am. Just because a man has a sun lamp and no buttons on his shirt doesn't mean a thing. I'll admit I have been hunting in quite a while, and I may be a little rusty, but I can still handle a rifle.
Are you sure you want to go through with this?
Are you kidding? Of course I do.
Well, okay. But when the cold gray dawn is breaking and you're sitting around a campfire eating soggy pancakes and washing it down with coffee that tastes like tobacco juice, don't say I didn't warn you.
You mean you really think this may turn out to be an unpleasant adventure?
No, of course not. I was only kidding. You didn't take me seriously, did you?
No. No. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear half the things you were saying. I was kind of thinking about the trip a little bit. Say, could I have another cup of tobacco juice, please? Of coffee.
Harriet, I've been thinking this whole thing over, and I feel if I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm liable to disturb you and the boys. So I think it'd be much more sensible if Thorny and I got up at a reasonable hour and left at, say, maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, and that way we'd get up to the mountains in about 3 hours or so, and we wouldn't overdo it the first day.
Oh, sure. Okay, dear.
Harriet, I kind of sense that you're disturbed, a little worried about my going. Now, we can postpone this hunting trip. We don't have to go this weekend.
Oh, no. Why should you do that? I think it'd be good for you to get away for a couple of days.
Hey, Pop, you seen the paper about the Cachipuku Hills?
No, is there a forest fire?
No, they found those 3 hunters that were lost.
3 hunters lost?
Yeah, they've been wandering around for a week with nothing to eat.
Well, you see, things like that can happen to even the best of hunters.
Oh, yeah, but it never happened to you, though, Pop.
I don't think your father's going that far into the woods.
Well, now, just a second. We're going quite a distance, Harriet. I won't try to conceal the fact that there is considerable risk involved.
Oh, yeah, but you wouldn't get lost.
Well, we certainly hope not, don't we, son? However, many men have been lost in the forest and never heard from again. Capable hunters and woodsmen have literally dropped from sight. Eaten, no doubt, by wild animals.
Oh, I don't think you'll be eaten, dear. After all, there are no bears or mountain lions where you're going, so there's no real danger, is there?
There's never any danger to hunting if you kill your quarry with the first shot. See, it's the wounded beast that turns and charges.
How long are you going to be gone, Pa?
Over the weekend. That is, unless Mr. Thornberry backs out.
Oh, I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either, Pa.
Well, you never can tell. After all, he is a family man, and I'm sure he realizes there's considerable danger involved. Not only that, he doesn't like to drive his car in the wintertime, especially through the mountainous area. Gee, I wonder what the weather is up there. Maybe I ought to call the Weather Bureau and find out.
Want me to call him, Pa?
No, just hand me the book, would you, son? Thanks very much. Pardon me.
Oh, hi, Pa.
All right, son.
Hey, I'm reading some great stuff here. Longfellow.
Oh, that's a good boy. I'd like some weather information, please.
Local weather?
No, the weather forecast for the Cahachapuco area.
Cahachapuco Mountains?
Yes, we're going hunting up there tomorrow.
Don't get lost.
Well, we'll do our best. What's the weather forecast?
Excellent hunting weather.
Oh, are you sure?
Thunderstorms in the morning, followed by snow at the higher levels. You can follow their tracks.
What about the next day?
Snow and colder with rising winds. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes, it's very good. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Pop, listen to this. It's pretty good. From his lodge went Hiawatha, dressed for travel, armed for hunting.
Yeah.
Warning, said the old Nokomis. Go not forth, O Hiawatha.
Son, why don't you stop reading that silly junk and buy yourself a nice comic book or something?
Gee, Pop, I kind of like it.
Well, okay.
Fearless Hiawatha heeded not her woman's warning. Forth he strode into the forest. At each stride a mile he measured. Lured to the sky above. Lured was Gitchy Goomy.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And we could call you Gicky instead of Ricky.
I wouldn't take that Indian stuff too seriously anyway, Rick. David, don't be blowing that, will you? First thing you know, we'll have every duck in the neighborhood flying in here.
There was a good picture about hunting on television tonight. It's too bad you boys missed it.
What was that, Harriet?
Oh, well, these hunters were up in the mountains, and their provisions were disappearing, and they noticed the tracks of a grizzly bear outside of their cabin.
Well, I've seen that a couple of times. It really wasn't a grizzly bear at all, was it, Mom?
No, it wasn't. It was this prowler who had these things that he put on his feet to make it look like the footprints of a grizzly bear.
Oh, say, that reminds me, Harriet. Did you know there was a prowler outside the Randolph's house the other night?
Really?
Yeah, they saw his footprints in the flower bed.
It was a grizzly bear impersonating a man.
I wouldn't joke about that sort of thing if I were you, Dave.
No, your father's right. I wouldn't want any prowlers around here.
Say, Harriet, you know, if there are prowlers in the neighborhood, maybe I shouldn't go on that hunting trip tomorrow.
Oh, dear, the Randolphs live way over on the other side of town.
Well, I know.
Forget about it, dear. You go have a good time. The boys and I'll be fine. We'll lock all the doors and windows. Come on, fellas. It's time for bed.
Prowlers in the neighborhood. Footprints in the flower beds.
Yes, dear?
Come here, quick.
Was something the matter?
Come here, look in the flower bed.
What footprints? I mean...
You've been prowling around here last night.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, now, don't be alarmed, dear.
Well, I am a little alarmed. Whoever it was had 2 left feet. Probably some sort of a lunatic.
I wouldn't jump to hasty conclusions like that.
Ozzie, I'm worried.
Oh, well, don't be. For goodness sakes, you don't think I'd go off on a hunting trip with prowlers in the neighborhood, do you?
Well, I would feel better if I knew you were going to stay home.
Oh, of course I will. You just go in and fix breakfast, and I'll go tell Thorny the whole thing is off.
All right.
Hey, Oz, I was just coming over to see you. You know that we had a prowler here last night?
Well, so did we, Thorny. I wonder if it could be the same one.
Well, ours was the first prowler I ever heard of with 2 left feet.
Yes, by golly, it's the same guy.
Well, naturally, I couldn't think of going away for the weekend under these circumstances.
Oh, certainly, Thorny. I understand perfectly. I feel the same way about it.
Well, you aren't too disappointed, are you, Oz?
Oh, well, it is sort of a letdown. I mean, I borrowed a lot of equipment and all that, but, you know, c'est la guerre. That's the way.
You do understand, though.
Oh, sure. It wouldn't be right to leave the girls alone. See, doesn't it always happen that way? Maybe you plan too much or something, the darn thing always falls through.
Yeah, sure tough luck.
Well, maybe we can make it next year.
Or maybe the year after.
Thorny, I'll let you in on a little secret if you promise you won't tell Harriet.
Yeah? What's that?
I've never been hunting in my life.
Oz, you old faker, you.
I guess I am.
Oz. You know that big moose head that hangs over our mantel?
Well, yeah, sure.
Captain's sister won it in a bingo game.
Oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Rick. What are you doing?
Getting the mud off your father's shoes.
Does Pop always wear one brown one and one black one?
Well, not usually, but you see, last night when he got up to walk around in the flower bed, it was dark in the bedroom, and he picked up 2 left shoes by mistake.
Were you awake?
Yes, I was. Good thing I followed him downstairs, too. He had himself locked out of the house until I unlatched the door.
Are you going to tell him you know?
No, I'm not, and don't you either.
You think when I get married that I'll have a wife as smart as you.
Well, thank you, dear. Not that I'm so smart, it's just that... Well, quite a few years ago, I hooked a nice big fish. I like him very much, and I want to make sure he doesn't get away.
Don't do that, Ricky. You heard Pop. We'll have every duck in the neighborhood flying in here.
David's right, Rick.
How about this moose call?
Yeah, you can blow that. I'm quite sure there are no mooses or meese or whatever they are. I'm quite sure there are none of those in the neighborhood. Oh, I'll get it. I'm sorry, we couldn't get a moose.